I don't know how you stand this heat and dirt. It doesn't seem to make much difference to you Army men where they put you.
Nobody ever heard me complain of being in London. But even in British East Africa, there are diversions, interesting people. There are always prospectors for gold or for adventure.
As I'm with you there, her being here is the only bright spot in this dismal hole.
As you say, sir, a bright spot.
But of course you can, Freddie. Colonel Cressy and Mr. Bellamy are both dining here, and we need a fourth for bridge.
You can't set us 2,800 points and get away with it.
We demand revenge, old fellow.
You see, they're crying for your scalp, Freddie. Please come.
No. No can do. I know. But the rains are going to start early before we are ready for them.
Oh, I am sorry. I'd look forward to this. I only have 2 more days, you know.
Indeed, I do know, but... All right. Put another potato in the pot, Helen. I'll be right over. Underwood? The fort is yours for the evening. I'm dining with Miss Chalmers.
Well, I'd better make an inspection every hour then.
All anyone can do, really, with these infernal rains setting in.
There's no telling what damage they may do.
Well, there's nothing I could do if I were here. Can't hold the old thing up on my shoulders, you know. Besides, be back by midnight and probably beat the rain.
I hope so.
Oh, don't worry. I'll make it all right. Oh, have my plane warmed up, will you?
Freddie not home yet? He's still up at the dam. Supper's all ready.
Hello, you two.
Here he is. Get yourself cleaned up. Supper's ready.
Sorry, I'm dining out.
Oh, but Freddie, I made a kidney pie for you.
Oh, did you make a kidney pie for Freddie? Well, save it, funny face. I'll eat it in the morning.
Freddie,
Yes?
must you go?
Well, I'm just going down to Miss Chalmers to play bridge. Why?
I don't know. I'm a little upset, that's all. Don't worry. It's silly.
Oh, now listen, now what's the matter?
There was a letter from Tim.
How is he?
He's no better. Those headaches, they still keep up.
Now, don't you worry. We'll bring him out here. This air will clear him up in no time. Now, back up. Keep your chin up.
Perhaps we shouldn't have been so insistent. If it really rains...
Not much doubt of that. Looks like a bad one.
Well, what of it? This dam can't stand up against a little rain.
My dear chap, we only call African storms rain for lack of a better word. You're very lucky to be shoving off before it really starts.
Yes, I wish I could. It'll be worse than ever being stuck here after you're gone. Saying goodbye to you is no joke.
Hardly goodbye. There are still a few lions left, you know.
And I'll be back after them. We'll all probably find each other back here again next year.
Might as well be fleeced properly. I'll bid the 4th club.
Brandy, Freddie?
Yes, just a spot, please. I'll bid the 4th heart.
Pass.
And I.
Now she blows.
Right, I pass.
Incredible, the cards you hold.
Ah, well, lucky at cards.
Don't be young, Freddie. That's an exploded theory anyway.
Is it? Loathsome brat.
Stop picking on my defenseless child.
Little poison ivy.
Your child? But you're not married.
According to the birth record, she's my sister. But since Dad died, I've been sort of a mother, father, sister, and third cousin all in one tour.
Lucky brat.
Well, regardless of the relationship, she's still the villain of the play. And if it weren't for her...
If it weren't for her, I'd still have brains enough not to marry you, my lad, handsome as you are.
Now make up your minds. Is it to be matrimony or bridge?
Yes? Yes? Speak up, man! Speak up! Get out both crews! Load sandbags in! I'll be over in 20 minutes! Sorry, I must run. I'm afraid the rain's gonna melt my dam a bit.
Freddie!
Look here, old man, you can't fly in this muck.
Must do.
I'm glad it's you and not me.
Freddie, wait until morning. This is absurd.
There won't be so bad up above it. Don't worry. I'll be all right. I'll ring you in the morning. Sorry to break up your game.
Freddie! I'm going to stop him, but...
Helen, you can't.
Freddie! Freddie, don't do it, please. You can't fly in this.
This is nothing but a heavy view.
Well, there's nothing you can do. Wait until morning.
I'll be back by morning. You can give me coffee. So long.
A happy landing.
So, he seemed quite cheerful when he left here.
Of course.
And I expect that's all. Thank you very much for your patience.
I don't see what this has to do with us, Inspector. Of course, I'm sorry that the dam was washed away, that Bastian lost his life. But after all,
What Mr. Bellamy means, Inspector, is that there's no reason why Miss Chalmers or he should be connected with this tragedy.
That's all very well, Colonel. But we have our duty to do. A thing like this can't happen without an investigation.
But there are thousands of airplane accidents.
This was not an accident. Bastian killed himself.
But what are you saying?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Bastian committed suicide.
Are you sure?
How can you tell that?
This was found 300 yards from where he crashed. He deliberately threw the plane out of control.
But why should he do such a thing?
Disgrace. He knew that he was done for. And I expect he knew that the flood would wash everything out and his sisters would be drowned.
Oh, how horrible.
What disgrace. He couldn't have held the dam together if he had been there. What good would he have done?
If he'd been there, the sluice gates would have been opened and the waters lowered. It's a nasty business.
Inspector, besides his sisters, was there any other family?
Only one that we know of, ma'am. Brother. Not quite right, if you know what I mean.
Well, if there was anything we could do, any help we could...
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm afraid there's nothing. Good day. Good day, Colonel.
Good day, Inspector.
Just because we wanted a 4-foot bridge.
The investigation discloses he felt he should not leave the dam. But Colonel Cressy and Mr. Bellamy, as well as Miss Chalmers, urged him to do so, and he finally agreed. What else should I say?
Want to mention this stuff?
Oh, yes, I'll forward all your brother's possessions I've been able to find. Anything else?
The girls?
Yes. I'll advise you as soon as I've been able to locate the bodies of your sisters. That's enough, isn't it?
Don't you think you ought to say something about being sorry or something?
Well, what can I say?
Just say, I'm very sorry.
I ain't keeping him in my house no longer. All he does is throw knives at the wall, all the blooming die.
Well, let's have a look at him.
And this came yesterday.
Strange thing, the effect of terror. We three met 2 years ago in Africa. Now we meet again in California. You, Bellamy, have come all the way from Shanghai. I've come from India. We've traveled a good many thousand miles between us. And nothing in the world's brought us together again but terror.
I thought you soldiers weren't supposed to be afraid.
Largely a tradition of fiction. Besides, one may be afraid for others. But it's still terror.
Well, we've got until tomorrow morning anyway. Now, the question is, what are we going to do?
What's been done so far, Helen?
I've given all the letters to the police.
And,
They say the man's mad, of course.
Well, that's fairly obvious. But madmen are dangerous.
They wanted to put policemen in the house, but I refused to allow them.
in heaven's name, why?
I'm not going to let this man turn me into a prisoner.
Police? Not such a bad idea.
They didn't pay much attention to my objection. Detective is coming out tonight.
Well, he ought to be here now.
What about your servants, Helen? Are they trustworthy?
The cook came with the house. My maid has been with me for years. The butler hasn't arrived yet.
What butler?
The agency is sending one up from Los Angeles.
You mean to tell me that at a time like this, you'd hire a new servant?
One has to live, you know.
It's you two that are mad, not Bastian.
So, there are 6 of us in the house. We 3, cook, maid, my chauffeur.
And a new butler to come.
And my sister and a friend of hers, Andrew Forsyth. They're at the polo matches.
Who's Forsyth?
I said a friend of my sister's.
Someone's prowling around out there. I heard footsteps.
Miss Chalmers?
Yes.
The Peerless Agency from Los Angeles sent me up with this.
It's quite satisfactory, Skinner.
Thank you, madam.
Just a minute. I have a question or two I'd like to ask you.
Yes, sir?
If you're going to be questioned, Skinner, it's only fair that you should know why. These 2 gentlemen are very old friends of mine. Our lives have been threatened. A man swears to kill us tomorrow. Naturally, we're a little nervous about who comes into the house.
Naturally, madam.
In other words, Skinner, what Miss Chalmers needs is 1/3 butler and 2/3 bodyguard.
I see, sir.
You're English, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Who did you work for in England?
I was in the service of the Earl of Milcaster.
Oh, yes, I know him quite well. How is the old man?
He's been dead 5 years.
He's quite right, Bellamy, he has.
Who did you work for over here?
Mrs. Edison Rayler of New York for 5 years.
Can you prove it?
Miss Chalmers has my letter of recommendation from Mrs. Rayler. Anything else, sir?
Not now.
Anything further, madam?
Nothing, thank you, Skinner.
Oh, Skinner.
Sir?
Know anything about these?
Well, sir, I saw a bit of service. Yes.
Try this.
An unfamiliar weapon, you know, sir.
I understand. Go ahead.
You can shoot anywhere you like, Skinner. You won't disturb anyone.
The nearest house is miles away. Very pretty. What was your regiment?
The Berkshire Rifles, sir. How many for dinner, madam?
Just the 3 of us, Skinner. Martha will show you your room.
Thank you.
That man is an amazing shot.
He learned in a good school.
Well, just the same, I think we better call the police again.
I doubt if any of them be more efficient than Skinner. An army man is often very handy.
This has just arrived.
So we're all at Santa Barbara. Bastion. Let me have another look at that telegram, will you, Helen? Thanks.
Look here. Let's all leave now. Go down to Los Angeles.
Why make things more difficult? The chap would only follow us.
No, I'm with you, Leonard. Let's get it over now, once and for all. Oh, there's Gloria now. Little poison ivy, remember? Hello, darling. Grand Polo. Come in, dear, and be a lady. I want you to make a good impression. This is my sister Gloria, Mr. Bellamy. How do you do? This is Colonel Cressy, Gloria.
I'm delighted.
Oh, hello. I've heard a lot about you.
And I have you.
This is Andrew Forsythe, my best beau. Mr. Bellamy and Colonel Cressy.
What's that?
How do you do?
Well, what prompts the reunion of you three menaces to the peace of Africa?
We have reason enough to.
We thought we might plan some new mischief. Want to come along?
You bet I do. I was afraid for a moment you were taking Helen's lunatics seriously.
Have you had dinner, dear?
Yes, we stopped for a bite on our way home.
Oh, thanks. I'd love some. You the new butler?
Yes, miss.
Fine. Breakfast in bed for me.
Very good, miss.
Oh, Skinner,
Sir?
do you know this man?
No, sir.
That's all, Skinner. You may put the picture back.
I beg your pardon, miss. Very careless of me.
Never mind. Just sweep up the glass and put the picture back on the piano.
There's not much use. The face is cut.
Well, put it away then. We can have it repaired tomorrow. And see who that is, will you?
Yes, ma'am.
And if it's a young man without any chin, I'm not at home. Think I'll wash the face and hands. A little soap and water wouldn't hurt you either, Andy.
Righto.
You sure it's all right? It's pretty late just to drop in on people like
my
this.
dear Ronnie, one of the great advantages of being 70 years old is that you can be as eccentric as you darn please. No one expects you to have decent manners. Now, don't bother to announce this. We'll walk right in. Been visiting this house for 60 years. Not going to stand on formality now.
Hello, small fry.
She does you proud, Helen. She's very lovely.
Isn't she a darling?
How can she treat these threats as a joke? Who is this Forsythe?
A friend of Gloria. She met him at...
Mrs. Thornton has called too.
Don't get up. I'm Sybil Thornton, your next-door neighbor. If 4 miles can be considered next door, been meaning to call on you for a week. Haven't had time. Dropped in now to welcome you to Santa Barbara.
You're very kind.
Not a bit. I wanted to see what you looked like anyway. I heard you were good-looking. Well, you are.
Thank you. May I present Colonel Cressy and Mr. Bellamy?
How do you do?
This is Ronald Cavendish. He's an actor. But he's very nice.
How do you do? Mr. Cavendish, Colonel Cressy, and Mr. Bellamy.
That idiot son of mine gave him a letter of introduction in New York. Came up expecting to have a good time, and he's been bored to death with me for 2 days.
Oh, you'd hardly call being driven around the country at 85 miles an hour being bored. Never had such an exciting time.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Skinner, some highballs, please.
Hey!
Can a girl dress without being yelled at by a lot of men?
Not a lot, just one.
That's your story.
Anybody?
In a second.
Hey, I don't like you, Butler. Is that all right with you?
Darling, you're going to love him. I'm going to adopt him when we're married.
Who said I'd marry you?
Oh, just an idea of mine.
Well, you'll have to bribe me.
Name your price.
You can get me a little aspirin if you want to. I got an awful headache. A little too much sun, I guess.
Oh, darling, I'm sorry. I'll get you some.
Come over anytime for tennis and golf. I only have a 9-hole course, but it's quite sporting.
What the little lady means by sporting is that it has every hazard except barbed wire.
I can still do it under 40.
Oh, here you are, darling. Mrs. Thornton, may I present my infant sister, Gloria?
Hello.
Hello. This is Andrew. Hey, Andy, where are you? Oh, there you are. This is Andrew Forsythe. He's my young man.
Nice-looking chap. How are you?
How do you do?
This is Ronald Cavendish, a friend of my son's. He's all right, though. Plays good tennis.
How do you do? How do you do?
Think I'll give a dinner for you two girls. Be glad of an excuse for a party and some excitement.
Parties won't interest any of us until the...
Miss Chalmers,
Yes, Skinner.
if you'll come out into the hall, there's something you ought to see.
Helen, wait.
Don't touch it. There'll be fingerprints.
What does it say?
I'm here, Bastian. Come in here, all of you. Skinner, was that knife on the table when you went out for the drinks?
I didn't notice it, sir.
Look here, Forsythe. You didn't come into the room with Gloria. You stayed behind in the hall. What were you doing there?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Bellamy, I was admiring Gloria's back.
Helen, darling, he does mean it. It's not a joke.
Well, would you mind explaining? Is this some new game?
A game of murder. The madman has sworn to kill us, and he's here. Do you understand? He's here.
Thank heaven I came over today. I never would have forgiven myself if I'd missed this. I haven't been so thrilled since my first operation. There go the lights. It's as good as Edgar Wallace.
Don't move, anybody.
What was it?
Probably just a fuse blew out.
That frightened me.
Skinner,
Yes, sir?
you better check the fuse and put in a new one.
I'm disappointed. Something should happen in the dark like that. But nothing did. Nothing's changed.
Yes, it has. The knife. It's gone. You realize what that means? He's here. In this room.
And it shouldn't be difficult to find out which one it is. The knife is missing. No one's left this room. Somebody must have it. That one is Bastian.
He's right. Search them, Cressy.
Will you search the women, Helen? You mind? Not at all.
Do you want to look in my shoes?
Well, I think you could put the tray down.
Yes.
I hope you don't mind.
Not at all. I'm enjoying it.
No go.
You've searched them all, thoroughly?
Yes,
No, you haven't. You haven't searched Mr. Bellamy.
that's quite true. No me. No Helen.
Can't Skinner be putting a new fuse in while we do that?
I should think so. Skinner.
I haven't confined my reading to mystery stories exclusively for nothing. The guilty man is someone quite unsuspected. One of those threatened, for instance, like Mr. Bellamy, or somebody we haven't even seen yet. Why couldn't someone have come and gone through an open window while the lights were out?
Because the windows were locked. I locked them myself just after dinner.
Are they still locked?
This one is.
I'm going to find out what's taking Skinner so long.
I'll go with you.
No, you stay here. The cellar's no place for a girl.
How do you know the fuse box is in the cellar?
Feminine intuition. They rarely put them in the attic.
They're locked, all right. Every blessed one of them.
Well, that eliminates the outside people. So one of us is a potential murderer. You know, I've never met a murderer before. Socially.
And I can't help feeling your son wouldn't approve of you meeting one now. I think I should take Mrs. Thornton home.
Of course, you shouldn't be.
You children mind your own affairs. I'm not going to miss any of this.
But my dear Mrs. Thornton...
Now, don't be a nuisance, Ronnie. My knitting's in the car. Get it for me like a good boy.
Right you are.
You said the police were to be here this afternoon. Why aren't they?
I'm sorry, I don't know what...
Well, I'm not waiting any longer for them. It's dead.
Naturally. You didn't think he'd leave the wires uncut, did you?
Look here. You seem to know a great deal about this.
Not at all. The man's simply doing the obvious.
Well, then what will he do next?
Exactly what he said he'd do. Kill you, I expect.
Leonard, where are you going?
To get my driver. I'll have him going to town for the police.
I'll go. I can make better time, but I hate to leave here.
Where have you been? Mrs. Thornton seemed to feel this is going to be a nice, quiet evening for knitting.
And you? Throwing the switch lights up.
The fuse box is in the cellar.
I know that. I put a new fuse in, but I took the precaution to throw the switch off first. One often gets a shock.
Right you are.
Ah, there you are. I'm to be Paul Revere, riding to sound the alarm.
I'll get your wrap.
Want to come along, Ronnie?
I think I'd better stay here. An extra man won't do any harm. You should be able to make it back in about 10 minutes.
I'll be back in 5. I don't want to miss anything. The starter's dead.
Perhaps it's the battery, madam.
Nonsense. I paid $35 for a new one yesterday.
I say, he has wrecked you.
Well, he's got me to answer to now. This is my favorite car.
I'll get my man. He can go.
Come on, Andy. We'll take the roadster.
Wilcox! 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 Why didn't you answer?
I was reading a thriller, sir, and every time I get excited, I stutter, sir.
Well, get your coat on, man. There's a murderer loose.
Oh. Oh, 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 oh. You know, a man should be drawn and quartered for ruining good automobiles like that.
He's put every car in the garage out of commission.
Cut the wires and thrown away the distributor caps.
Fellow, a sort of beggar, isn't he?
All right, sir, where to?
Come with me. Do you know anything about electricity, Wilcox?
Well, I can plug in a radio or anything like that.
The main wire must have been cut. Every telephone in the house is dead.
Well, we'll have to look into it, won't we?
Of course, one of us could walk to the nearest house and call for help, but it's a matter of several miles. I think we can save time by trying to find the cut wire and letting Wilcox splice it.
I can do it in a jiffy, sir.
Right. And my suggestion is that the ladies stay together in this room. You, Helen, lock the door after us the moment we go out, and you're not to open it until either I or Bellamy tell you to. The rest of us will make a search for that cut wire. We'll allow ourselves 10 minutes. And if we haven't found it by then, we give up and one of us walks for help. Agreed? Good. You, Forsyth, take the left side of the house outdoors. Cavendish, you take the right side. Bellamy, you follow the wires upstairs, and Skinner, you follow them on this floor. Wilcox and I will take the garage and the servants' quarters. Right?
Right.
Nice boy, that young man of yours. Who is he?
She hasn't known him long. He's something in real estate.
You girls are so much more fortunate than when I was your age. We never had a chance to meet men who were something in real estate. Dear me, I don't suppose there was even any real estate.
You!
He's done for, poor chap. Now, where were each of you when this happened?
I was in the kitchen. I heard a thud and came running up the back stairs.
I was following the wires and came through the side door. I came up those stairs.
That's right, sir. I was coming along the corridor from the back hallway, and Mr. Cavendish was just at the top of those stairs.
And you, Forsyth?
My alibi, unfortunately, isn't quite so pat. I came through that window.
What were you doing?
Well, if you'll take the trouble to look, you'll see that the wires run up under the eaves on that side of the house. I had swung myself up on the roof of the veranda to follow them.
Colonel, I found out...
Well, speak up, man. You found out what?
Found out where the wire was cut, sir. Poor gentleman. He's done in for fair, ain't he?
Perhaps now we can find out which one of us is Bastion. The knife is gone again. One of us must have it.
It won't take long to search me, sir.
The 10 minutes is up.
Colonel Cressy said not to unlock the door until...
My dear girl, don't be a fool. Your precious colonel may be dead by now.
No go, sir.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. It was a hope.
What shall we do now, Colonel?
I'm afraid we'll have to tell the ladies. Don't come up, please. Helen, I'm sorry, but he got poor Bellamy.
This is no time for fainting, my dear. I'm sorry.
Helen, I'm going to ask you to do the hardest thing in the world. I want you and your sister and Mrs. Thornton to go back into that room and stay there. Stay there no matter what happens until the police arrive.
Oh, but Bernard...
Please, my dear.
Come in, boy.
Well, I'm doing this under protest. Only to keep these girls company.
Come on, Wilcox. Let's have a look at this cut wire.
Very good, sir.
can't splice it, sir. The blanket's got off about 12 feet.
All right, Wilcox. You'll have to hike for it.
Very good, sir. What now, sir? Alone, sir?
Go as fast as you can, straight down the road. Stop at the first house you come to and call the police.
Very good, sir.
Come back, Wilcox!
I don't care what I promise. I'm going to find out what that shot was.
Shall I make a dash for it, sir?
It's no use. Bastian doesn't intend to let anybody leave the house. But he's tipped his hand just the same. There aren't many men who can shoot a man's hat off at 50 yards.
I never even mussed my hair. Where to now, sir?
To find that rifle.
Very good, sir.
Lennon! Are you all right?
Never better.
I was so frightened when I heard that shot.
I heard a rifle shot. Is anybody hurt?
Fortunately, no.
Thank heaven.
I just sent Wilcox for help.
Lennon! Look.
So that's where the rifle came from. Would you mind telling me where you were, all of you?
I was in the bathroom at the end of this hall.
I was looking for the knife in the shrubbery by the side of the house. I thought possibly it was hung from the window.
I was in the kitchen, sir.
Look here, Cavendish. I've got to have somebody I can trust.
Of course, old man. Anything I can do.
I want you to help me to find that rifle.
It shouldn't be difficult. The rifle's a pretty large instrument. Not easy to hide like a knife.
I don't know how the rest of you feel, but I'm beginning to be hungry. Do you think we could have a few sandwiches, my dear?
Of course.
I have some prepared, miss.
Excuse us a moment, will you? The colonel and I have an errand to run.
I wish you'd look after poor Bellamy, will you?
Not much to do, is there?
Well, you might at least put him in a bedroom.
Big partner, but where did the colonel go?
He and Mr. Cavendish went upstairs.
Oh, I see.
Well, where have you been?
Just slipped on a pair of pants. Makes a chap feel more at home, if you know what I mean, ma'am.
Yes, I do know.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
You take that side. Right.
What is it, Cavendish?
I'm all right. Find Cressy.
What's happened? Oh. What is it? Oh, Colonel! Oh!
Leonard.
Leonard! Oh, he's killed him! He's killed Leonard!
There, don't, dear.
He's all right, miss. His ticket's going to stay as a taximeter. Takes more than a stab in the back to finish the Colonel off.
Are you sure he's all right?
He's as right as rain.
Oh, my dear. There's Leonard.
Oh. The blighter nearly got me.
Don't try to talk to you.
Come on, ma'am. We must put a bandage round him.
I don't like to be personal, Ronnie, but you're a frightful-looking mess. Go and get yourself cleaned up, for mercy's sake. You look like the second Battle of the Marne.
You can use my bathroom, Mr. Cavendish. You'll find iodine and things there.
Thank you. What I really need is an ice bag. This bump's giving me an awful headache.
In the army, it's always customary to give a wounded man a drink.
Far be it from me to break an army tradition. Skinner, will you bring Colonel Cressy some whiskey, please?
Very good.
Comfortable?
Comfortable enough to be glad I got this scratch.
They all so good as new.
Can't I help?
Yes, please.
Now we'll put you to bed.
Not just now. We're going back to that living room and stay there.
Take it easy, sir. We've lots of time.
Will you come down when you're ready? I'm quite ready now.
There we are, sir.
Thank you, Wilcox. Now, shut that door and don't let anybody go out of it.
Very good, sir.
Make yourselves comfortable. None of us is leaving this room.
That is the first intelligent thing anyone has said.
There'll be no more private detective work. I don't know how long we shall have to stay here, but eventually somebody from the outside must come to the house. And when they do, they'll be sent for the police. Bellamy's dead. I was very nearly done for. Nobody else is taking any risk.
Well, I, for one, shall be quite satisfied with the quiet life.
Just what did happen, Mr. Cavendish?
The Colonel and I went upstairs to look for the rifle. I opened the door to the bathroom. Evidently, I wasn't welcome there. I must have passed out, because the next thing I knew, I was in the room and the door was locked. I began pounding and crying for help. Forsyth broke the door in.
And you, Mr. Forsyth, where were you?
I had just carried Bellamy's body into a bedroom when I heard the pounding and ran up the stairs.
Well, that narrows things down a bit. Wilcox was with the ladies. Cavendish was knocked out of commission. I was stabbed. That narrows it down to you, Skinner. And you, Forsyth. But we haven't found the knife and we haven't found the rifle. There's no clue as to which one of you it is.
Yes, there is. Something more has been discovered.
What?
Ronnie was locked in the bathroom, but when we came up the stairs, there was no key in the door.
So that if one of us has the key, he was the one who locked me in.
Exactly.
And Mr. Forsyth was the first one to find the door locked.
Oh, what of it? I was the nearest one.
And here's the key.
Forsyth!
It was you!
Well, I can't explain now, but...
There's nothing to explain, Mr. Bastian. Did you have to cheat and lie as well as murder? Did you have to pretend to love my sister to get into my house? Did you... Gloria. Gloria! Where is she? What have you done to the child? I'll kill you!
Don't be a fool. I love Gloria and I wanted to protect her. That's why I'm here.
But you had the key. We can't believe that
You're fools, all of you. If you had eyes in your head, you'd see that this thing was impossible. I don't care what you believe, but you've got to let me go. The girl I love has disappeared and she's in danger, and I have a right to go and find her.
I'm sorry, Mr. Forsyth, but you're not leaving our sight.
There isn't anybody here that could keep me in this room.
Wilcox! I said you wouldn't go, Forsyth. One of us can go in search of Gloria.
Well, in heaven's name, men, stop wasting time and send someone.
Helen, will you take the revolver, my dear, and stand guard? Wilcox will look for your sister.
Look! Now stand back, Wilcox. I'm a cold-blooded woman, and I'd as soon shoot you as look at you. Now you listen to me. This boy's right. You are fools. I'm an old woman, old enough to be mother to any one of you. But I can recognize the plea of a boy in love. Go find your girl, Mr. Forsythe, and God bless you. Now, make yourselves comfortable, because nobody else is going out.
Gloria! 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 Small fry, where's Gloria? Come here. Where's Gloria? Here. Go find Gloria. Find Gloria.
You can't keep me here. Oh, let me go, too. Let me find my sister.
You'll find her, my dear. Just be patient. Turn on the radio, Wilcox. A little music won't hurt.
But what's taking him so long? He's been gone for hours.
My dear, he's been gone exactly 7 minutes.
Gloria! Gloria! Are you hurt?
No, I'm all right. Helen.
She's safe downstairs with the others.
Oh, I was so frightened for her.
Who did this?
Skinner.
Skinner?
I saw him in the mirror. He came up behind me before I had a chance to scream.
But what are we doing here?
I was looking for the rifle, and I found it.
And then?
He grabbed me and tied me up. But I'm all right. Let's get back to the others.
Well, wait a minute. Gloria, things look pretty bad for me. They think I'm Bastian. They think I killed Bellamy and wounded Cressy. But you won't listen to them, will you? You'll still trust me?
I'm going to marry you, aren't I?
Try something else, Wilcox. That sounds very amusing.
It is now 11 o'clock Pacific Coast time. We will take you by direct wire to the beautiful ballroom.
Calling car 42. Car 42. Proceed to James Street. There is a drunken man. Calling car 64. Car 64. Proceed at once to 17 Bel Air Road. To house occupied by Miss Helen Chalmers. Report to Lieutenant Kerrigan and follow orders. That is all.
So you see, the police were here all the time, Miss Chalmers.
But where? Who?
I'm Kerrigan. But I knew that Bastian would never strike if he knew I was here. I'll take that, please.
But the letter from my son.
Well, he was very glad to write it when we told him you were threatened by kidnappers. So now you can all stop worrying. Bastian, you're under arrest for the murder of Norman Bellamy.
If you want me, come and take me. Take me if you dare.
Stand where you are, Bastian, or I'll fire.
Go ahead. It's empty, Inspector. Colonel Cressy. You forget I emptied your revolver this afternoon when shooting at the Roses. Now, it won't take more than a few moments for those police cars to arrive, and they're not going to find me here. And you, Miss Chalmers, are going with me.
No!
Now, stand back,
No.
all of you. Don't move.
Take your hands
I am
off.
taking no chances. I'm sorry, Miss Chalmers, but I knew he'd never let you leave this house, and I had to make him produce that knife. A nice shot, that, Forsythe. I had the rifle in my hand and seemed ashamed to waste it. You knew he was Bastian. Yes, he made his slip when he locked himself in the bathroom. He left the key on the inside.
It's the only slip I made. I fought you all single-handed, and I almost won. But I'm not through yet. You can put me away for years, but I'll come back. No matter how long it takes, I'll come back and I'll kill you. Just as I promised I would. Remember that. You're going to pay for Freddy's death.
They're not going to put you away, Bastian. They're going to hang you.
And that's not all. Before they hang you, you'll hear from my lawyer. You can't wreck my automobile and get away with it.
What is it?
Put him away, Sergeant, and be careful of him.
You're going to pay for Freddy's death.
I'm afraid, Mrs. Thornton, I was the guilty party. I hated doing it, but I had to put those cars out of commission. I couldn't allow anyone to leave here.
But why did you tie me up?
Well, I wasn't quite prepared to make an explanation at the time. Oh, Wilcox, I hope I didn't frighten you. when I shot your head off.
Oh, no, sir. I wasn't frightened a bit. Do you mind if I go to Shut Eye now? It's been quite an exciting day, hasn't it, eh? Hello, a pistol.
Mrs. Thornton, I'd like to congratulate you on the way you handle this revolver. Quite a veteran.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, you know, it's the first time I ever had one of these things in my hand.